Hi guys, welcome back to another video. We're at IRONMAN Swansea. It's Saturday. We just put the bike in the transition. It's pretty windy, so they've allowed us just to cable tie our bike on and stuff, which is really nice. But yeah, just rocked up. We're gonna go into the shop and get the massage done on our legs, because why not? It's free. And then we're gonna get set up, get home tonight, rest up, ready for the big day tomorrow. It's looking lovely at the moment. It's really windy, but tomorrow looks gusty, but actually a lot better than what it was supposed to be. So fingers crossed tomorrow we have some good luck, and it should be a lovely day. But we're at the finish. It looks set up. Swansea's ready for it. So let's get on with the day and let's get ready for tomorrow. How many of you there, Mark?
How many of us today, or racing?
Racing.
134 racing.
And how many spectators do you think?
Oh, probably about 400.
So we'll see you from a mile off then.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Should be class day.
Is it right to cheer for Ferry Flatliners or not?
Well, we'll you know, give them a boo.
Morning, Andy. All good?
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Yourself, mate?
How you feeling?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Get a bit damp and windy in.
It's not perfect Welsh weather, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be good out there actually. I think this is meant to darken in the next hour or so, and then hopefully by the time we finish and we're having a beer after the sun's out, we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Well, good luck anyway.
Yeah, and yourself, mate. Good luck.
Morning guys, and welcome to the start of IRONMAN Swansea 70.3. We're just walking to the start. It is pretty bad weather. The wind's died down, but it's been raining quite heavy all night, raining all morning, so complete contrast to last year where it was lovely and trying not to get heat stroke. So Alex is underneath the umbrella trying to keep warm. So yeah, it's gonna be fine. Wind's died down, which is lovely, so fingers crossed everything stays like this now. And hopefully with a bit of blue sky on its way, it should brighten up a little bit. But yeah, not too bad so far. Everything's in transition. Bike's all ready. I think I'm ready. So yeah, here we go. IRONMAN Swansea 70.3 second edition 2023.
Come on, let's go. Yeah. 40 degrees over the hill. Go on, Lewis. Go on, Lewis. Get in, son. Go on, Lewis. Get on there. Go on, son. Get up there.
Okay, so that's Ironman done for 2023, second edition of Swansea 70.3, and I thought I'd take this time to go over some of the good, the bad points, and also my performance over the weekend. So I just want to say quickly before we go into that as well, thank you to all the volunteers, clubs, junior army, cadets, everyone who was there. The volunteer group were absolutely amazing and by far the best in terms of an Ironman event I've been to. There was over 500 volunteers, and without them that event just couldn't run as well as it did. So I just want to say a big thank you to all the tri clubs, everyone involved. Big hats off to you. It wasn't an easy weekend with the weather as well, so diolch yn fawr. I'll start with the bad points because I think it's good, then we can finish on the good points. On the day of filming, Ironman have decided to change the finishers t-shirts to actually give people what they deserve. I wasn't really happy at the end of the run when they decided to print 2023 over last year's 2022 t-shirts, which turned up late. I'm all up for sustainability. There's means and ways of doing it, and I think the way they handled it was a PR disaster. You shouldn't give someone a 2022 t-shirt with a knockoff naffy ironed on 2023 over the top. They could have given them to local tri clubs, they could have given them to schools or people who need it, clothes banks, or they could have just sold them for £3 or £5 in the Ironman shop over the weekend. They probably would have made a profit. But Ironman have listened, they've emailed us, and they're going to give us all a 2023 t-shirt, which we do deserve. Now that does go against their sustainability and to get them delivered individually. So if they're looking after their sustainability, this is not a good win in their eyes. It's a good win for us who deserve a good t-shirt, but it's not going to look good on them. So hopefully they learn for next year and get their act in order and give people what they deserve. So no bad points in terms of the Friday, Saturday. I thought that all ran really well, very smooth, lots of volunteers, like I said, on hand to help. I think on Sundays where they could have learned a little bit from last year and also thought about things a little bit better. So the swim start, I thought the swim start was really crowded, a little bit hectic, and if you're claustrophobic you probably wouldn't have liked it. They should have kept it like last year where we queued up on the edge of the swim, not behind the swim start, because it just got crowded, it wasn't big enough, and you were pretty much scrambling and jumping over fences to get into your allocated slot time. So I don't think that was very well organised and not very well thought through. I think it was a bit of a hectic decision to do that. I think the second thing was, I think the motorbikes were pretty harsh on the bike course and probably could have been a little bit better. I was 5 miles in and there was just a motorbike in the middle of the outside of the left-hand lane. I was pretty much screaming at him to move, couldn't hear me, and I had to swerve basically when he braked. And he said, "Oh, I'm really sorry, but that could have cost me a DNF if I, it could have cost me to crash, could have cost me to do anything." So I think the motorbikes probably could have been a little bit better, and because it was so windy and wet on the road, I think all the cars should have had sirens on. We were, because we got TT helmets on as well, I couldn't hear when a car was coming past. I would have really liked to have a siren or a horn just so I can hear them. I think a lot of people would have valued that as well, because I think a lot of people got disqualified for blocking a vehicle or a motorbike when actually, one, they couldn't go anywhere because there were so many riders on course, or two, they probably didn't hear them. So I think that's a little bit unfair. I think the second thing on the bike course as well is probably the merge from the first loop to the second loop. So after you come down Kevin Bryn, it's where you join the guys who are on their second lap. Luckily, when I first got there, I saw a lot of the pros come past, so I had a lot of clean road basically and clean air to pass some people on climbs, but also just to think and things like that, so it was much easier. When I came around to my second lap, obviously you had nearly everyone out on the course then, and that just caused absolute chaos because the merge wasn't really done very well and it was just a set of cones. There was just a lot of people like all the way across the road. Ironman were forcing the you have to stay left rule, which a lot of people did, to be fair, but it ended up meaning that all of us on the second loop who were going considerably quicker than the first group had to do a lot of sort of screaming, get out of the way, let us through, stop talking, stop blocking kind of thing. And it's two different types of people. You had sort of the group I was with who were going for times, so it was important that they stayed aero, that they had clean road. And you had the people then who were joining on the second lap who were purely doing it to finish, or it's their first time, or weren't really fussed about having a time. They were just fussed about finishing the event and getting the medal, which is really important. So I think that was a bit of a dampener, because I know a lot of people got disqualified there as well, because when they merged it was just 4 people abreast kind of thing, couldn't really manage it. And then 500 meters, 600 meters after you merged, it was a right hand turn into a farmer's lane, which was just chaos basically, which couldn't be helped. But I think they could have done some better signage to say stick left, faster riders right. I think they could have made it a lot clearer for people, because not everyone can ride the course, not everyone realizes where the merges are and things like that. So I think that was really something they could have worked on. They should have put some carpet down, especially in the transition area. That car park is ripped up, like real bad. It's used every single day, it's full. And I left my cycling shoes on because I knew how bad it was. There were so many people there, especially pros as well, who want to do a quick transition to get up to speed, so they actually run barefoot. I think I would never have liked to run over that, because I think I would have had cuts in my foot ready to run. So please, 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 for the 3rd year Ironman, put some carpet down in transition, just to make it nicer for everyone and stop injuries. For the sake of a couple of £100 renting a carpet, we pay enough basically to have a carpet down. So I think that's important to stress. And then the run. I think the run was fine. The run was perfect, very well organised. I think they learned a lot from the first year. So the first year was ridiculously hot. This year I do feel like there was more personnel on aid stations. I think the tri clubs who manned them knew what to expect this year in terms of how busy it was. So they had more people on it, water was more given out quicker. So I think everyone did a really good job there, and I think if it wasn't for the volunteers, that could have been a lot worse. So thank you very much to the people who manned those aid stations. And I think the run course was fine. It was really good, very well marshalled, facilitated, so I think that was really good. And I think the finish in red carpet, like last year, was really good. I think it would be nice to have a big screen. Activity Wales do it there, they bring their own big screen, and in Europe they do bring a big stage and a big screen. Now I haven't seen that done at Ironman UK before, but it would be kind of nice, because there's not a lot of level there to actually watch people unless you stick at the front for a long period of time. So yeah, things that went really well. So I think the things that went really well, if we start with the swim then, is that they did listen a little bit more. In terms of getting out the water, they probably got us in the right way, so that when you're coming out of the water, the exit of the pontoon was a lot better. So I do think that worked well. I think the bit before they could have done a little bit better. Transition was better in terms of the run from the swim to the transition tent. They actually sweeped it this year. There was no glass on the floor, so I think they did learn from last year, that kind of thing. So props to Ironman for listening to that. The bike course, although they did have its difficulties with the mergers, I think the bike course was certainly a lot better than last year, and I wouldn't have liked to done last year's bike course in the conditions of this year. I think it would have been horrific. I think it would have been a lot more dangerous. So I think this year's course was a lot better than last year's. There's an honourable mention to Swansea Vale Tri Club, and I don't normally give them a lot of sort of compliments because normally it's banter and things, but their support throughout the whole weekend was phenomenal. They had flags up all the way across the course, they had people on the course, they had people on the run course, and they cheered everyone. Even if you weren't from Swansea Vale, they were there to support, and I must say, they had a plus 100 entries, but I think their support team was probably close to 500 if you include everyone out on course as well. So I must say Swansea Vale tried fantastic. Chapeau to you all, and even to come out in those conditions, and to everyone who came out in those conditions to spectate and cheer and support. Hats off to you, because it wasn't the nicest of days, and I think without you guys out there, it wouldn't have made the day as good as it was, because the support certainly got everyone through the run, because I think everyone was quite exhausted after the high winds on the bike and things, so actually get going. So yeah, that's the good and bad points. And then quickly, just to go over my sort of experience and my effort and my race day, I did a time of 5 hours 18. I'm pretty happy with that considering the conditions. I wanted to be closer to the 5 hours 10 to 15 mark, and I've obviously come up a little bit short, and that's because probably I was a little bit over my estimates on everything really. The swim I wanted under 35, I went just over 35. The bike I wanted to do 2 hours 40 and I did 2 hours 50. I was actually on for the 2 hours 40 until I got to the 30-mile mark, and that's when we started to go onto the top of the Gower Peninsula, and it was so windy. I was just a little bit too light basically, and I struggled to get power down, struggled to get any momentum, and looking at my watts per kilogram, it dropped right off. I was doing 3.8 to 3.9 watts per kilogram, got to that 30 mile mark, and it dropped down to like 3.1, 3.2, and I was struggling to just get power down. So yeah, what can I do about it? The weather made it difficult, and I know I got to get stronger in those conditions and probably get a bit better condition for those as well. So a little bit there to work on. And then for the run, I was hoping to get under 1 hour 40. I was just over that. I think I was like an hour 43, hour 42. I was looking really good in the first 10k, so I did a 47-minute 10k, and then looking at my data between the 15 and 20k mark, I dropped right off. Looking back now, that was to be expected because I haven't done a lot of that longer running training and brick run off the bike for that amount of time. Where I've been doing the 40-minute brick runs, I should have been doing the sort of hour and 10 brick runs. So really got to focus on that for the next couple of months and see how I can get that better, ready for IRONMAN Mallorca in 2024, which I have entered. So a couple of things to work on there, but overall happy with my performance, but I knew I could have done a lot better in the grand scheme of things. I'm really hoping to try and either match or beat my IRONMAN Portugal time of 4 hours 58, but fingers crossed. We've got a couple of months to train, but really looking forward to that. But there we are, IRONMAN Swansea 2023 completed. Thank you for watching. Hopefully see you at the 3rd edition next year.